One skill that I rarely hear people talk about is a player's ability to continuously recognize the change in each situation and adjust their actions accordingly. Very often, players make their decisions based on what they want to do and not what they should do based on the scenario they are currently in. Generally, most of the best players in the world gather information throughout the match, but most of the scenarios they are in, they've been in numerous amounts. If you've ever felt like you can't reach the top because you don't have the reaction time for games, that's not necessarily true. You can have a higher reaction time to situations than someone with a higher reaction time than you in the same situation just based on experience alone. When you're playing and you experience the similar situations over and over again, as you learn what is good and bad in those scenarios, you can limit the amount of options both you and your opponent has to choose from and decide to make the best move there. Recognizing the constant change in scenarios and applying what you believe to be the best option there is called your refresh rate. If you're watching this chess game and you think it's sped up, guess again. This is how a game of Blitz looks at the absolute top level of chess. The players have seen these openings so many times that their refresh rates of the first 15 or so moves is so extraordinarily high, they respond immediately. It isn't until the later moves that they begin to experience unfamiliar positions and take slightly more time to think. TSM Charles can help break down what refresh rate is and how to improve it.
This is one thing that I kind of like to talk about. I call it like the refresh rate of a player, and it's going to go back off of what Gavin was talking about with people buffering options in neutral. This is most people do this because their refresh rate of the game is not as fast as the other player. So when Gavin's playing the game and he doesn't even have to think when he's doing this, or even Pink, like just really experienced players, like when they're playing the game, their refresh rate of neutral is like way faster than most other players. So it's like, oh, boom, this hits on shield. Now what is happening? Like they're not saying that in their head, but they're mindful of what is going on, interaction to interaction, like, and they know the windows where it's like, okay, boom, now we can do something here. Okay, what did he do? Okay, the next interaction. But other people, their refresh rate isn't as fast, so they have to take guesses. There's a lot of situations in neutral where you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this, but then like it has to change because like you refresh the situation like 5 frames later, 10 frames later, it's different, right? So it's like you have to have that refresh rate, and the only reason or the only way you get better at having a faster refresh rate is you stop guessing. You actually like put yourself in a situation where it's like, okay, boom, and then you're probably going to get fucked for it because you're bad at it, but that's fine. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna try to like hit someone shield and like, okay, I need to like see what the situation is after, and then like you get hit because you're not quick enough or your reactions aren't good enough. But that is okay because you're trying to play neutral. You're trying to have the same refresh rate as like these top players, and you're trying to take these situations by situations by situations instead of like clumping it all together. Like I hit shield and I'm just gonna swing again. Instead of doing that, I'm gonna hit shield and like try to comprehend and see what happens and make a decision after that instead of just like clumping it all together. It's like that those string of like 3 to 4 situations, it's 3 to 4 situations and you need to refresh every single one. But a lot of players just clump it all together.
Now let's take a look at a short clip from one of the best players in the world with one of the highest refresh rates, Tweek, and see how often he refreshes each situation. We'll watch it once in normal speed, then once in slow motion to truly break down how incredible his discipline is.
その怒りで私を思い出せ。
Tweek attempts an empty jump grab, but didn't observe he was on the wrong side, so he gets hit by rising fair, but is aware the grab isn't a true follow-up and spot dodges, netting him a punish with down throw forward air. He dashes forward, and when seeing the double jump, he dashes back to cover the drift in, but reacts to the air dodge to the ledge by dashing forward. He snipes the double jump, then moves forward to cover the immediate side B or air dodge to ledge, and once that didn't happen, he just had to time the down air, and that's one stock down. Tweek elects to go to the platform. He shields, and once he notices the opponent in a position for a falling aerial, he parries, but doesn't go for a punish. He empty jumps through the platform for a grab, reminiscent of the first stock, but goes for nair instead. He dashes once, then sees Wolf double jump, then dashes for it again, and gets a punish on his lack of resources. When Tweek jumps and notices Wolf laser, he decides to go with an up B straight down because he knew it would lead to a tech chase on the platform and a guaranteed side B. Most people get aggressive when side B is on them, so he pokes, then turns around and waits for the fall through aerial and gets a parry into back throw double forward air. Could have back aired, but had the knowledge that double forward air would net a better reward. Wolf could have air dodged his second forward air, but the orb would have put him in a worse position. Note this position for later in this breakdown. Afterward, the orb forces the air dodge low, and unfortunately, a bad angle on Wolf's up B leads to another stock loss. Tweek decides to go back to the platform, this time using tricky movement to wait out the invincibility. Once he sees another high forward air on his shield, he lands an air punish similar to the second stock. Again he dashes forward, sees the double jump, but notices Wolf continuing to fade back, so he opts for stage control instead of chasing. Once he lands the stray side B, catching Wolf's dash, he begins positioning for aggressive jump-ins like the previous stock. He snipes the double jump with double nair, and because the orbs are on, he knows a falling aerial is coming, and lands a sour up tilt, knowing it will lead into a nair confirm and combo into the orb explosions. After that, it's just cleaning up the stock. Remember the air dodge off stage from earlier? He already planned to do the up B off stage, as shown by the arrow angle, but with no double jump, the air dodge was almost necessary to survive. I'm sure if the air dodge didn't occur, then he would have just done the up B back to stage. Now watching again in normal speed, you can see just how fast he is constantly refreshing the situations in his head while using very familiar scenarios to net rewards such as empty jump grabs, going to the platform during invincibility, and the nair into double dash forward waiting for the jump. You can see in this clip when you may have made different decisions or what you may have done differently, but you also can apply it to your own gameplay. When you're playing or studying videos of yourself, try your best to be conscious of when you are not identifying different positions and new situations, and try your best to focus on improving in those areas. Soon enough, you'll have so many positions remembered, you too will be a top player.
その痛みで私を思い出せ